You are not a number. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that you are not a number on a scale. That doesn't define you, it doesn't define your progress, and it doesn't define how hard you're currently working. I feel it's a really important topic to go over, and I actually meant to make a video of it last week, and on my way home today I realized I had forgotten. So now I'm pulled over in a cemetery to tell you this really important information. There are a lot of ways to measure your progress when you're trying to achieve your fitness goals. The scale is the most common way I think that most people measure their progress. Just your normal, average, everyday household scale. Some people actually have developed an unhealthy relationship with this tool. In fact, I'm one of those people. I work very, very hard to not weigh myself because logically I know that it's not necessarily the best way to measure my progress. The scale is going to give you an overall number of your weight, and included in that weight is body fat, muscle, bones, your frame, your organs, water weight, anything you've eaten or drank recently. And that number is not going to discern any of these individual items. It's just going to give you one lump sum. Here you go, here's your number, go on with your day. So what happens a lot of the times is when people are working out a lot and they're eating right, they're actually building muscle. And then they step on the scale and they see the number not going down as much as they wanted to, or they see a stagnant number and they get frustrated. And you have to remember that when you're building muscle, that's going to make you gain weight because muscle is actually more dense than fat. So if you're losing fat and gaining muscle, your weight may not change. It may stay the same, it may go up a little, it may still go down a little as well. But it's not the be-all end-all of how you should be measuring yourself. So a couple of other things that you can do to measure your progress, I think first and foremost is, how do you feel? Do you have more energy? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel better? That's the most important thing right there. Can you move better than you could before? Do you feel like you have vigor and vitality? The second way is by how your clothes are fitting you. Everybody has those skinny pants and those fat pants. How are those fitting you? Are you fitting better into your skinny pants, or are your fat pants still a little bit snug? These are also good indications of how you're progressing. And if those fat pants are still a little bit snug, you may want to reevaluate your fitness plan. Maybe you've hit a plateau, or maybe you should reevaluate your nutrition, because nutrition is extremely important in fitness. So there are other ways that you can measure your progress as well. There are tools that you can purchase and use at home that are calibrators and things of that nature that measure body fat. However, they can be 3 to 5% inaccurate, and that's a really huge margin of error. If you're talking, for example, about a woman who has a 21% body fat, a 3 to 5% margin of error is huge, and it's not extremely accurate. So another really good way that you can measure your progress is by taking your own measurements, and you can do that with a fabric flexible tape measure. And I recommend to do this once a month and then compare your current measurements to your previous measurements. And this will give you a good indication of if you're building muscle, if you're losing fat, overall, how many inches are you losing, or are you gaining? It depends on what you're doing. If you're bulking and you want to gain muscle, or if you're trying to lose fat and lose weight overall. So what I would recommend to do with your fabric tape measure is take some measurements around your chest, your stomach, your hips, your thighs, your quads, your calves, and your biceps. Those are all good places to start to take your measurements, and make sure that you track them and write them down again so that you can refer to them the next month. Now, getting back to the scale, I'm not saying don't ever weigh yourself. I'm not saying that it can't be an indicator of your progress, because it can, but don't rely solely on the scale. And by all means, don't measure yourself every day. Your weight is going to fluctuate, not just day to day, but it's going to fluctuate meal to meal, beverage to beverage. If you just have a huge quart of water and you go and weigh yourself, you're going to weigh more. If you've just worked out very vigorously and you've sweat a lot, you're going to weigh less. Do not measure yourself every day. Do not measure yourself multiple times in one day on a scale. Please don't do it. It's a really unhealthy, obsessive habit to get into, and I have fallen victim to that in the past. I struggle with it all the time. I really should just take my scale and throw it out the freaking window. And I know people that have done that and feel great about it. But now what I'm doing is I step on the scale about once a week, once every 10 days. And I think that's a little bit more of a normal way to measure yourself on the scale. Not every day. So here are some suggestions for you. Take them or leave them. If you have any of your own, other ways that you measure your progress that you feel are accurate, definitely let's have a conversation about it. Get in touch with me on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere. You know where to find me. I'm kind of everywhere. And let's strike up a conversation and let's hear your thoughts about it. Okay? Thanks. Take care.